And I discovered in that session that that witchiness was part of my personal and spiritual development that could only be found when I was what I now call static free. I get rid of the toxic metals, the toxic chemicals, the buildup of all of the things that we inhabit, like come into our experience when we're a human on this planet. Wow. And when you clean it up, lo and behold, the energies run really nicely. And I started to realize I have clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, the clairs were on.
Welcome to the living room. Leave the over at the door. We'll talk it out till it's simple, till it's you again for sure. Life, leadership, money, and the names you outgrow. We make space for the woman coming through. Living room wisdom, where your story is your glory.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. But today, Eva Venari's story is her glory. Welcome, my love. I'm so happy to have you here.
Good to see you in person.
Again,
Yeah.
yes, we're going to make this a habit. We love being in each other's space. So today, this is another of our series called Beyond the Panel. And it's a follow-up to our absolutely incredible panel from our 100th milestone episode. I just want to thank you so much again.
Oh, it was epic.
It was ridiculously epic, and I've gotten so much incredible feedback from the very modest and you're just like such a chill presence, but people lean in. And so many people wanted to hear more from you. Who is that little redhead in the middle?
Who's that?
Who is it? A song, girl? It is. It is. It was a Madonna song. I was a fanatic. Yeah. But I want to formally introduce Eva, and then we'll get into all of our ridiculousness. So Eva Venari is an international speaker, best-selling author, and founder of the Elevate Institute. So that's juicy in itself. Why don't we just start there? What is the Elevate Institute?
It's the place where you align with your purpose and fortify your body for that purpose.
I love it. And so go a little deeper, because I know you're witchy. And when you describe that, there's other things like wellness and like maybe even some science base and all of that, I'm sure, is incorporated. But there's also some witchiness, right?
Yeah. There was something I discovered after healing myself from those 30 different symptoms and Latin words,
Okay.
diagnoses. Well, I reversed it using science called mineral balance. That encouraged me to become a practitioner myself. I really just wanted to save money on it.
Yeah.
That did sound big. So, and I thought, oh, I'm kind of analytical. I'm in my head a lot. I want to know more about this and apply it for myself, heal. So I did. And then 2 weeks after I became certified, my now deceased ex-husband, he passed away at the age of 45 on 17 medications. And that was the spiritual tap on the shoulder for me. You need to open your doors for business and tell others that they have an alternative to prescription medications. Well, okay, the part that is not necessarily known about, at that time I was very focused on just keep it analytical, Eva. Just talk about the minerals. He attached himself like a spirit. After he passed to my right over here, I could hear him talking. Okay, now I said we were divorced. We were divorced for 12 years. I divorced him. I did not want to hear him in life, let alone in the end. Oh my God. That was alarming. He wanted me to take his advice with the children. We have two now grown children. At the time they were in middle school. So I had to find an exorcist to help relieve me from this. And I discovered in that session that witchiness was part of my personal and spiritual development that could only be found when I was what I now call static free. I get rid of the toxic metals, the toxic chemicals, the buildup of all of the things that we inhabit, like come into our experience when we're a human on this planet. Wow. And when you clean it up, lo and behold, the energies run really nicely. And I started to realize I have clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, the clairs were on. And I went, what the heck's all this? So that was the beginning.
Were you spiritual before then?
Not that much.
Not okay. So I knew your story. I didn't realize how much because like there's so much.
Yeah.
So many layers.
Well, so many.
I didn't realize how much we had in common. I have not told a lot of people this, at least, and especially not like with cameras. But my late husband, when he passed, so before he passed, I was spiritual, but not all the clairs. I didn't believe in the psychics, the tarots, the cards, all the woo-woo shit, right? I was attracted to it and had a layer of curiosity, but I wasn't deep into it. I wasn't living it.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes, and.
My honey as well would not go away. Like for over a decade, he would not go away.
Oh, no.
Literally, I was single, right? I'm a widow. I'm single. I'm trying to date. And men would be like, you're not single. They're like, there's a presence here. And it was really freaky. I hired different people in the spiritual community. We did retreats, things like he would show up. He would talk through people, like take over their bodies and start talking and telling me messages that only I knew was coming directly from him. Definitely the freakiest shit you can experience, but also the most loud message that there is definitely an afterlife. There are spirits. This spiritual stuff is real. It's not just woo-woo shit, as we like to call it.
Yeah, I wake up every day with a little bit of, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
And then this is my life.
And you're being guided.
And I'm being guided, and I'm what they call grounded woo.
Yes.
Right? People say, yes.
Yes. Wow. And so did he ever go away?
Oh, yes.
You had to do the exorcism.
Okay, these types of things, how they occur in my life in sequence is amazing. So when he passed, it was long after I sought the help, almost right away, because I didn't want this in my experience. Yes. So this is intrusive, not allowed. I don't want it. And simply telling him that wasn't making him leave. There happened to was Larry's. He was up.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, they're pretty dominant characters.
Zebra Eras, and I had Jerry's Smith. So there was a lot of energy, So I might be attracting some of that myself, and had to learn how to harness it. So that period of time, the details that came in helped me build and develop this a gift that I continue to build and grow. So that month after, there was a metaphysical school here in Orange County area that had a bunch of different opportunities to speak with psychics and people who had Akashic record reading. And all of them, I had 3 appointments. I booked ahead of time, went in. All of them were like, oh, there's something going on for you. They all recommended the psychic surgeon, which today I would call an exorcist.
Yeah. I think I like psychic surgeon.
I do too.
Kind of actually.
I might rebrand.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, but I had confirmation. So I called my practitioner who was training me on mineral balancing at the time. And I say, Nikki, can you check in with your guides? Because she was also spiritual in her own way. But at the time, not where I am now, but definitely ahead of me at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she's on the phone with me, and I says, can you check in and see if he's attached to me? And she goes, well, normally they move along. They don't stick around.
Normally.
And I go, will you check anyways? And so she puts the phone down, and I hear her in the background. This is the best. I hear her go, she's listening. Oh. And she gets back on my phone. She goes, you're right. He is still attached to you. So this was the beginning of the private part of the Elevate Institute, which became so much of the pie and the percentage of what I had become that other practitioners were coming in, branding practitioners, visibility practitioners, how to get your signature talk together. All of them were lining up one after another. Like, you need to include this work in the Elevate Institute. It's not just about minerals. Now you're offering something so much bigger.
Yeah. Wow. I love it because the vision was laid for you.
Yes.
And you didn't necessarily see the vision. You just kept saying yes.
I kept saying yes. And in those spaces, you know what it is. When you wake up, you haven't opened your eyes yet and you're not resistant. I got a puzzle piece. And it took 5 years for me to see the first milestone vision of what the business would be. Now I get downloads and waterfalls. I got one this morning of what my talk is going to be this coming Wednesday. So it's always
Isn't life so much more easeful and sovereign when you live in that space?
it's lovely.
It really is. And I feel like the more I've learned to embrace that I am just a vehicle, just a vessel, none of this shit's in my control. I can prepare because I like to prepare. I like to set the framework, the groundwork. I get like these that I prepare diligently and rarely look at. But it's like the preparation creates the container so that I can show up, so that you can show up, whether it's a stage, a podcast, or otherwise, and just show up as a vessel and just be like, all right, Spirit, speak through me, work through me, and see what happens.
Every time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So tell me then, before this experience with your husband passing and you really embracing and stepping into this spiritual woo-woo space, which I can't even imagine you not being that woman. Who were you before that?
Oh, I had 2 professions before I stepped into this one. So for the first 10 years of my career, I was in information technology. So I was known as the tech intuitive. I know systems. I could put together computers from the motherboard up, put them together, build them with the screwdriver, all of the good things. I could program them. I could build the software. What I did in that industry was build help desks for large corporations. So they had systems of single point of contact, very technical. And I would teach them how to use that and how to quantify the importance of their IT department.
Wow. Yeah. That's interesting. So you went from fully analytical tech space to
the Stone Age. I went from a New Age to the Stone Age. So do you remember Y2K? Okay. Do you remember how nothing happened?
yes, I remember.
You're welcome. So I was part of that crew that solved the problem so that you could just go right through Y2K without a hitch. And right after that, there was the IT bubble that burst. Okay. So then the next 16 years in corporate America, I spent in natural stone. Okay. So I was what they called an architectural rep, another very highly technical job.
Yes.
So you think about stone, and you think about tile, you think about, all of these surfaces that make things look pretty, and you just think, oh, I just want something that looks nice. How do you know it's going to work in the mall with high traffic? Right? How do you know it's going to work on the outside of that building for cladding? That's also very technical. So I have this technical, analytical mind. And I was one of the people during 16 years that brought together the idea that natural stone has energy in it. This is before I was woo-woo.
It was creeping.
It was creeping. And I was, why not I was teaching the designers here in Los Angeles, as why don't we use the stone for its natural qualities? So for example, you want to help a family digest better. Well, use something Labrador, like Labrador antique, and put that on the dining table.
Wow.
Or if a person's having trouble with sleep, why not get amethyst and make 2 end tables or a headboard or matching in the bedroom, and that'll help them sleep. I was bringing that and getting
Already.
already, and people were going, it's weird.
You were an early adopter of all the holistic design.
Yeah.
And and architecture, because now they're doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Again, you're welcome.
Amazing. Actually, I have someone I need to connect you with.
Oh.
As a matter of fact, yeah. I just definitely. That's wonderful. And I love how Spirit's plan is always so much better than ours, because you had such a groundwork laid, like such a path, so that when you did fully step into your woo-woo, that's where the grounded comes from, because people must respect your brain, your experience, right? All of the things that you've done previously.
So much so that even late my goodness, my previous, let's call them soul body experiences, called upon me for this technical ability. There's lifetimes lived in other soul bodies, And for me, I love ancient technology. I love ancient civilizations. I love going to ruins and feeling the Akashic records of the land, because you can do that. You ever get to off the plane and you think, oh, I've been here before. Physically, have not been there in this lifetime, but it feels familiar. I have this happen all the time. So I was in Glastonbury a couple years ago, and at the Abbey, I was called to go take a tour and walk around the Abbey. I was in the basement level, and it was a beautiful experience, but quiet, really quiet. And they've closed the portal here for a visa. So I came home and I continued to have what felt like jet lag for about 3 weeks. So I reached out to another boob friendly, and I'm like, hey, I texted her, do you sense any sort of negative pull on my energy? And she goes, well, there's something pulling you for sure. I'm going to open up book wide. My master dragon comes into the conversation. It's, come on, let's go. Takes me 800 years into the past. And I'm in meditation and astral travel and time warp all at once. And back at the attic where I was, where it was quiet. Interesting. And who's there? Morgana, the daughter of Merler. She says, oh, good. Flipping it, thanks. You're right on time. Let's go. So what are you talking about? And I look at the dragon master and is that okay? We can all go back to our time. He goes, you agreed to this before you came here in this body. You arranged it. Wow. And so she learned a lifetime of magic I will never have enough time or access to learn. Her. And the purpose is to come together and merge my technology. Wow. So when I'm working with individuals, they get the benefit of an ancient wisdom that is amplified through technology.
Wow. That's amazing. That's a lot. It's a lot, and right? Like, I unfortunately have not had that intense an experience. I do believe spirit gives you what you're capable of handling, and I have a different calling. But I love surrounding myself with people who have had those kind of experiences, because again, like, gosh, 16 or so years ago, I would have thought you were a little nuts, crazy, to be honest. But now, because I understand the vastness and just all that's available that we don't even know.
It's my world. I woke up one day going into a regular meditation to find a huge dragon eyeball looking at me. And what is that? So we don't know.
Like the never ending story. That's the visual I am. We're telling this story.
Okay, think, oh no, what is his name? Smaug. Yeah, okay, the big red dragon from Hobbit. That's what he looks like.
Wow.
Yeah, the beautiful big European red dragon, just gorgeous.
Wow. So do people just, are they drawn, like, how do people find you? Because this is big work.
It is big.
It's not like, oh, I need a chiropractor. Let me look I'm going to show my age. Yellow Pages. Right? So, like,
Yeah.
how do people find you? And is it a pull? Is it a call?
Yeah, I often hear things like, you're an answer to a prayer I just did this morning. So instant manifestations. If I'm seen on a podcast or on a panel or something, maybe a colleague, somebody who's also there to be a part of it, they feel called to book a personal time with me. And next thing I know, we're eyeball to eyeball sharing stories that we're courageous enough to share with each other and realize, I'm here to help you, or you're here to help me. And that's how it begins.
Would you say you work more with clients now, or have things shifted to you maybe working and helping other practitioners, healers, woo-woo people?
It still ranges. I'm still working with people who are mid-level management will never awaken, and they need help with their physical body, and they've been exposed to long COVID and they need help with repairing that, or they're going through menopause and they want help with that.
Yep, I'm here for all of that. The mid on.
So associated. Yeah, I experienced menopause as one of my 30 different symptoms. At the age of 28, it came on late. And nobody ever said, geez, it's too early. That shouldn't happen. It's not normal. Yeah, but it is common. So I reversed that at 36 when I started doing this work. And I've been right up since and going through it without the mineral balance at 28 and then going through it now at regular time. And the difference is extreme. I don't have the symptoms everybody else talks about. Yeah. Or that I had before. So you can't, it starts there. And then oftentimes there's an interest. I know you do these other things. Can you do a session for me and read into what energies could be pulling on me? My ex-husband passed away too, or I had a bad relationship and I want to know. I feel like I'm always cursed, like I'm always dating the same person over and over again, and I don't know why. And there's patterns there that I'm in with. And I'm able to energetically go in and see, is that a part of your ancestry? Tapped into that briefly on the panel. The ancestor wounds, those are the number one things I have to dig into right now, Mia, to help sovereignty. Because without having that sovereign space, you don't know if the messages are really for you. So I'm here to give you that.
I call people like you earth angels. I've had so many earth angels along my path after my husband passed and I opened up to like, okay, this shit's real. And I just want to take a moment to shout out Lila Gaddis in Canada. She was one of my first like earth angels. Um, God, there's been so many. I have Mariah Sievers. If you're out there, girl, there's just people, there's so many. So if I didn't mention your name, don't be offended. But I hold so dear to my heart because during a time where I was discovering this new world, this vast spiritual ecosystem, right, that exists, that just showed up and weren't afraid to like actually just speak up and tell me what they saw or allow their bodies to be inhabited by my late husband, right? Which, by the way, Lila specifically was like, I didn't give permission for that. And it's not. She was like, he's a strong personality. Yeah, I know. But there's people. It must take a level of courage to be so out of the box. How did you develop the courage, the capacity to be able to hold all of this?
I have been approached just like I was with the business coaches, spiritual coaches and guides, and people in physical bodies like you and I who have had the courage to approach me. Didn't know me from Adam, but they were like, my guides are telling me I need to give you a session. Okay. Who are you? What kind of session are you talking about? And you get that feeling of a, yes, I should follow this. And sometimes you get a no, but I mean, I can't remember when I got a no. It was always, all right, I'm going to follow this a little bit blindly. And every time it was, and then a little initiation followed. It was the first time I have an astral travel I was initiated with. Here is the Akashic records for the Masterverse. Not just for you, not just for your friends, your family, that. And I deep. Yay. Right away. So Spirit had already, they seemed to know me right away. The Dragon clans knew who I was right away. I had no memory. I'm like, you guys hold me in high esteem. I don't know what I didn't deserve this. We know you. We know your eternal soul. We know who you are. We know what you're about. We've been watching you. Yes. Yes.
Wow. It's an honor, it is, I'm sure. Like,
Yeah, it's very.
it's giving royalty. It's giving.
That was my nickname. Really, they gave me was
Yes. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling the like calling that you have on your life, and it's huge.
It's a piece of vastness. Yes. And the energy body that I have built through the course of all of those different guides who have given me the gift of what it was I needed along the way. And then the expansiveness that I now offer to others to be with it. That energy is filled with the eternal energy. It is, people go, don't you get tired of healing Reiki sessions and healing people? Don't you run out of energy? I'm pulling from you to
Not, yeah, you're a vessel. You're plugged in. Yeah. Wow. I love this. So, unfortunately, we have to start to round out this conversation. I'm like, well, we'll get to continue it. But I think that the last question I'd like to ask is if there's people out here listening that are like so fucking intrigued right now, because I know you are. You're probably like, what? Um, fully intrigued and like called to like learn more, tap in more. However, maybe they're not ready, right? If they are ready, we're going to give you a pathway to connect with Miss Eva. But if they're not ready, like what in you, what did you trust? Did you trust yourself? You weren't super spiritual in the beginning. So, like, where did that trust or that ability to keep taking those steps forward come from? Share that with.
Yeah, the other half of that story was my now adult children. They were going through puberty at the same time I was awakening, and they were developing and awakening at their own skills. So when we realized, let me back up a second. Every night for more than 5 years, from 2013 all the way through to 17, till I learned how to close it down. Yes. Spirit, like Grand Central Station, was coming through the house because we are spirit communicators. I have the ability to create the light to heaven. They wanted to go home and they were stuck here. So I thought I was alone in this until the girls at bedtime, when you're, again, not resistant to the day and you're trying to go to sleep, that's when spirit, or in this case, just people about their bodies, want the touching. Oh, you're not distracted. Can you help me? And it was sometimes several in an evening. Sometimes it was one, but many of them didn't know they were dead yet. Wow. And they show up very confused, and they bring a lot of anger. And so you have to discern, is this is it their anger? Where is it? And all three of us were courageous and open and verbal with, I heard this, I saw that. I heard that too. And it really galvanized our ability to communicate well with spirit. And so we all three have the spirit communication gift and developed that skill to discern. Is this a human? Is this a demon? What is this? Is this an angel? Is this a dragon? Well, now it's very clear. So that's what gave me the expertise. It's okay. I was thrown into the deep end and to paddle to an edge. And that's what I do.
Wow. Bless you. Bless you. I've witnessed your journey on some level with my mom, who you met, who I was sure you guys will connect. Yes. Yeah, to the point where she thought she was crazy. And so that's why I'm like just so curious as to what that process is and how you've gotten to the other side so beautifully. And so, yeah, the work that Eva is doing in the world is quite literally magic. So if you heard something that resonated, how can people connect with you?
Best way is to go to the website. So it's theelevateinstitute.com. And there's a lot to consume there. You can listen to podcasts. You can watch the TV shows. I've had a whole podcast called "The Doctors Say We Don't Know." Very interesting conversations with doctors, patients alike. But there is a free calendar. So if you have questions, you will. For every question you ask, the answer begs 2 more questions. And that's why I give the 20 minutes. And that's free of charge. So
Wonderful.
find time on my calendar.
Definitely. And when you connect with Eva, make sure that you mention that you saw her on Living Room Wisdom podcast, just so that she knows that this made a difference. And with that, I want to thank you also for joining us for this incredible episode of Living Room Wisdom, where your story is your glory. If you haven't already, if you're new here, go back and binge episodes. We're over 100 episodes with amazing women like Eva. Subscribe, share the favorite episodes that have touched you, and can you go leave us a review? We would love to hear your feedback. We don't do this for downloads. We like downloads, don't get me wrong, but we don't do this for downloads. We do this for impact, and we really want to help transform your life. So thank you again for being here. We'll see you next week right here in the living room. Bye.